Eclipse season continues on Monday, May 16th with the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Closely squaring Saturn, the Lord of Karma, it implies that we may have to address the past, deal with some powerful emotions, and let something go. Let's take a look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you'd like to work with me, there's a link down below. I am currently running a Taurus season special. Every Taurus gets 20% off natal and solar return readings. There are links, there are coupon codes down below as well. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a comment or a like. I truly appreciate hearing from you guys. So this eclipse happens shortly after midnight at 12:13 a.m. Eastern on Monday, May 16th. So if you are anywhere but the East Coast in the US, it's going to be still May 15th for you, and it's happening at 25 degrees Scorpio. So it will affect everyone because it's part of the eclipse season, and eclipses tend to have very big importance in our lives. They kind of like portals that open and close doors. But this eclipse is especially important if you have planets between 20 and 29 degrees of the fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. It might kind of like hit you more and affect you more. So lunar eclipse is a full moon, but because it's an eclipse, it's a more significant. It's kind of like a full moon on steroids. So there's always a potential for it to be emotional, but there's even more power for it to be emotional. It's the moon in Scorpio, right? I feel like moons in Scorpio definitely tend to bring up a lot of challenging things, a lot of darkness, things that we don't like to look at, and make us grow through them and make us heal. So it might not be the most pleasant process, but it's a necessary process. We just had a solar eclipse in Taurus on April 30th that conjoined Uranus, so maybe it brought a sudden desire for change. Maybe something happened in your life. If it did, let me know in the comments below. There might be like an urge to innovate, an urge to start something new, kind of to become a rebel, to bring new beginnings into your life. And this eclipse, so the solar eclipse in Taurus happened on the North Node, which is already about material gains and physical new beginnings, tangible things. This eclipse is a lunar eclipse, so it has to do with release, but it's also conjunct South Node, so there is even more release. And it squares Saturn, and Saturn is the planet that says no a lot, or says not yet. It's the planet of what are you willing to give? What are you willing to sacrifice? So this eclipse carries a little bit of that weight of like, what do you have to let go of in order to get you to where you're trying to go, right? Like, is it a relationship? Is it a resource? Is it an unhealthy family dynamic? There might be a lot of things that you will be looking at and kind of releasing. And it's, you know, Scorpio is the sign of transformation, but it's also the sign of control. It's the sign like of trying to manipulate things into being a certain way. So, and that's of course a more negative expression of Scorpio, but wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, chances are that you're quite attached to those things. Chances are that you may be holding on a bit too tightly. You know, I'm a Libra rising, for example. Scorpio is my second house, and I have always been very private when it comes to my finances. It's like I didn't have the best experiences with it growing up. So as an adult, I have a very strong attachment to my financial security. So wherever Scorpio is in your chart, that's where you tend to hold on very tightly. If you're a Scorpio rising, you may be so used to your privacy and your space, and like it might be really hard for you to adapt to a new relationship coming in. So there might be different areas, right? Like you're sort of choosing to let go of maybe something unhealthy, maybe something that creates a fear in you, or maybe something that feels safe but no longer serves you, in order to move in the direction of Taurus. And if you don't know what the solar eclipse in Taurus has brought to you or what the promise is, I did a video breaking it down, so definitely check that out before you listen to the lunar eclipse video. And it's also, it's a fixed energy, right? It's a fixed energy, it's a feminine energy. So the changes that we're going through are not necessarily super quick and immediate. And there's more tension because the energy is fixed. It doesn't want to change. It's not like as easily moldable as mutable signs might be. So it might be, yeah, it might take a while to see the changes, to see the results. You can expect to feel more emotional. You can expect to deal with facing your fears and facing your limitations and, you know, ultimately possibly letting something go. There might be a lot of cleansing, kind of purging things out of your system. For some of us, maybe if it affects your house of physical body, there could be literal purging. That might be like Gemini rising with the eclipse happening in the 6th house, or Scorpio risings with the eclipse happening in the 1st house. You're not necessarily disgusting purging, but maybe some emotional purging, some like, you know, facing your fears and letting some of that stuff go. Avoid overextending yourself around this time and try to take it easy as much as you possibly can. Just surround yourself with people and things that you love and you know people who love you, and lean into self-care. Let's take it through all 12 signs to see what it might bring to you. So if you are an Aries rising, you just had a solar eclipse in the 2nd house, implying that there's new material beginnings, new financial beginnings, perhaps a new job, perhaps a new source of income, something that is yours, something that is, you initiated it, you're starting it, you're excited about it. At the same time, there is a lunar eclipse in the 8th house, implying a sense of letting go of someone else's resource, letting go of the impact of someone else onto your life. And this could be a few different things, right? Like this could be, you used to have a roommate and you used to share rent, and now you're making more money and you're paying for your apartment on your own, but you have to say goodbye to a roommate and you have to kind of like let go of that supplemental source of income. Or maybe you are kind of wrapping up, maybe you've been getting a child support payment, right? And now you're not going to be getting that anymore. It might be tough for you to say goodbye to it, but because you are on this journey towards financial independence, it might be worth it in the end. You may be paying off debts. 8th house is very much financial debts, karmic contracts you have with other people, literal contracts or unspoken agreements. Something in that sector might be closing, some kind of collaboration, business relationship, any relationship in which you share the responsibilities for things is, you know, you're letting that go. You're starting to become more self-reliant, and that in the process you may be either letting go of a relationship or you're settling and paying back debts. For Taurus rising, there's a lunar eclipse happening in the 7th house. There was a solar eclipse in your 1st house. So you're very self-driven right now. There's a lot of kind of questions of who am I, what's my place, where do I see myself, where do I want to be? And as you're changing, your relationships are changing too. And this lunar eclipse is implying that there's a certain topics you have to address in relationships. And it's not necessarily, you know, like, don't be afraid, don't think that this means relationship is going to end. If your relationship is solid, it's not going to end. But if it's built on a faulty ground, if it doesn't have a proper foundation and security, yeah, it might fall apart because maybe your goals don't involve the person you're with anymore. Maybe you see yourself moving to a different country and you want to be free to date other people. So there's relationship tests. And if the relationship is strong, it's also likely that you find maybe a new independence in a relationship and you find a new way of being together while both being interested in different things. And like you kind of, it might grow, bring you closer even. It's, you know, it's also the house of a business partnership and business and like contracts that you have with others. So maybe on your path towards your new projects, you have to close some of those parts of your life. And of course, it's also like 7th house is not just you, it's also your partner. So with the lunar eclipse in the 7th house, your partner might be going through a tough time. And as you're so busy dealing with your personal gains and focusing on yourself, this might be the time when the focus shifts, and now you need to make sure you're balancing your things with your partner's experience, right? Like you're trying to find balance between the two. And let me know if this resonates in the comments below. For Gemini risings, the lunar eclipse happens in the 6th house, and we just had a solar eclipse in the 12th house where maybe you are pursuing your mental health. Maybe you've been devoting a lot of time to serving others and working on your spirituality, tapping into your imagination. Like 12th house is all of these hidden spiritual invisible things. And maybe, you know, you've been bringing a lot of that into the mix, and that is the sector of your life that feels good. But lunar eclipse in the 6th is likely to bring your attention to your immediate environment, to your bills that you have to pay, to food that you're eating, to your body and your physical well-being. So while you're so in the realm of like future and spirituality, there might be, maybe your body needs tending. Maybe it's the time to book a massage. Maybe it's the time to take care of your health. Definitely your health will likely require attention. Be careful around that time. Don't overexert yourself. Don't like run a marathon. Just try to take it easy. Because the lunar eclipse in Scorpio can also be like a sign of some kind of crisis. And maybe it's a health crisis in your family, but somehow your attention needs to, like, you need to create focus between your mental health and all of your projects that exist in the realm of the mind and your body. There might be a completion of a work project, or maybe even letting go of a job that no longer feels satisfying, especially if it's a job that is a service kind of job and you're choosing to go in the direction of a more creative, imaginative, spiritual kind of job. And maybe you need to take care of like a legal matter that involves your parent or your child. Basically like something that's very, very grounded that may have slipped your mind, as simple as, you know, like going to the dentist or something on the path, like when you were moving towards your goals, you may have forgotten about something that needs your attention. For Cancer rising, the lunar eclipse is happening in the 5th house, and Cancer risings have had a solar eclipse and North Node in the 11th. There's a lot of focus on public recognition, joining new groups of people, finding new resources, new allies, presenting ideas. And while you're going towards those things, the lunar eclipse in Scorpio might say that certain things that you found enjoyable no longer feel enjoyable. And that could be, 5th house is the place of romance, creativity, and children. So you may fall out of love with a partner. You may feel like the relationship no longer feels satisfying. Or you may fall out of love with a creative hobby, with a creative project, like a passion project that used to be exciting for you and now it's not. There might also be, you know, with like, since it's a pretty tough lunar eclipse and it's squaring Saturn in your 8th house, you may have to face certain challenges when it comes to love life, or certain challenges when it comes to dating, and maybe ask, how are you standing in your own way? Like, what are your unhealthy attachments and healthy dependencies that are maybe worth sacrificing and worth letting go? Be careful that you're not just like sacrificing your love life completely, or sacrificing your joy for the sake of that higher purpose that you're trying to achieve, those ambitions that you're trying to satisfy. But yeah, like, you know, matters connected to children might need your attention. Maybe a child is going through a hard time and you kind of have to find that tricky balance between, you know, having a job, having goals, and like being a good parent. Definitely a possibility here. For Leo risings, was a solar eclipse in your house of career, implying new beginnings in the place of work, maybe new professional opportunities, maybe a new project, more responsibility, recognition of some sorts. And now this eclipse will bring your attention to the home and family and possibly call you to let something go or to find balance and take care of the family matter. So while things seems to be looking up at your work sector, maybe your family needs your attention. Maybe your place of living requires attention. Maybe you're moving or buying or selling a home and you need to try and find balance between all of your professional projects and that, as well as, you know, like family matters needing your time and needing your care. Or maybe you are examining your dynamics with your parents and you're examining your childhood or all the things you have learned as a kid and facing things that you need to let go. Maybe there's something that isn't supportive anymore. Definitely try to make sure you're not just super focused on your career life, because whenever we focus too heavily on one part of our chart, the other one might suffer. You always want to have like a healthy balance between the two. It might feel shaky, might feel uncomfortable. There might be certain fears and uncertainties coming up around home, family, place of living. But if you're careful and if you like persevere, things will likely be successful. And this could be, you know, this could be a few things. Like this could be, I don't know, your move gets delayed or something happens with part of your furniture and you're just like having to face certain, and maybe this furniture represented your parent, or I don't know, like there might be whatever you're experiencing, if it's tangible, if it's physical, see the emotions that are connected to it, because there's a chance that maybe that emotion represents something else or that object represents something else. For Virgo risings, there's a lunar eclipse in the 3rd house. And so Virgo risings just had a solar eclipse in the 9th, which brings new beginnings to the sector of faith, education, religion, travel, legal matters, and publishing, while there is a sense of, so this is your like high mind, big mind, all of the ideas, the realm of teaching, the realm of like beliefs and philosophies. The lunar eclipse in the 3rd house draws your attention to your immediate environment, to your relationship with your siblings, to your communication. Maybe there's something that needs to be said. Maybe you feel like something is bubbling up in your relationship with a sibling or in your relationship with your neighbor. There might be, you know, while you have all these goals, there might be something that needs to be addressed, something that requires to be said. Relationship with siblings can definitely go through a transformation, especially if they haven't been going so well. And you may be letting go of something in your immediate environment. Like if it is new beginnings for you connected to travel, maybe you're moving somewhere and starting a life somewhere else, you need to, with the lunar eclipse in the 3rd house, you need to pack up your stuff. You need to say goodbye to your favorite doorman, stop by your favorite coffee shop, get that last croissant, and, you know, kind of like say goodbye to certain things. Try to be flexible, try to be adaptable. Don't hold on too tightly, because it's likely the new beginnings that are connected to education, travel, teaching will be exciting for you. For Libra risings, there is a lunar eclipse in the 2nd house. So while for Libra risings, the solar eclipse could have brought certain financial entanglements with others, like getting a loan, getting a mortgage to get an apartment, making a big investment into something that's important for your future, or starting a new collaboration. This eclipse might be a hit for your personal finances. You know, I'm trying to be positive here, and like it's not necessarily going to be dark and challenging, but it's a complicated eclipse. You may have to address your relationship with money and what money means to you, and also, you know, kind of like let go of a source of income, let go of something that maybe felt important to you. It could be like a piece of furniture, it could be an object that you're maybe saying goodbye to. But I think you're choosing, like, as a Libra rising, you're sort of on this trajectory of like relating with other people, connecting with other people, allowing them to carry some of the heavy weight that you've been carrying. And it's almost like, you know, like you move in with someone, and you have to share a closet with them, or they move in with you and you have to share your closet with them, but you're so attached to that closet, you're like, but it's all my things, there's no space. So you really want to be more flexible. And if you are letting go of something, if your money kind of drops down for a little bit, or you're making that big investment and you feel less comfortable financially, just know that it's temporary. It's not, you know, it doesn't define you. And the other side of it, what you're going to get from that investment is likely worth a lot more. For Scorpio risings, there's a lunar eclipse in the first house. So very significant. First house is our identity, our physical body. There's a solar eclipse that just happened in your 7th house, bringing new beginnings to your relationships. Maybe there's a new person on the horizon. Maybe you are deciding to become a parent. Maybe you're moving in together with your partner. At the same time, the lunar eclipse, you know, it's like you're investing a lot into your relationships, and what are you giving up? Do you feel like you're not, like it might be tough because you are gaining a lot in the sector of relationships, but you're definitely taking some attention off of yourself. And this lunar eclipse is likely to tell you, like, hey, you need to balance it and look at yourself too. So watch out for health issues. Take really good care of yourself around this time. There might be some kind of crises, some kind of like purging, like physical purging things, you know, letting things go. There can be like releasing mental blocks, like what is preventing you from going head on into the relationship? Is it fear of losing your independence? But like, you know, how independent are we really? Is it if you're trying to become pregnant, are you afraid of your body changing? Like, what is holding you back? And that question, right? Like the question of like, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get that relationship that will make you feel happy and secure? And how important is your independence, or how important is your alone time? I'm a big fan of alone time, so don't sacrifice all of it, or don't sacrifice everything. Just try to find a healthy balance between your needs and the needs of your relationship. For Sag risings, there is a lunar eclipse in the 12th house. So Sag and Gemini rising eclipses seem a bit more tricky than the rest of us. I think, you know, it's tough for all of us because Scorpio. Like, it's a complicated eclipse. Moon is in its fall in Scorpio, so that's why it's like classically considered more emotional and intense. But Sag rising, there was a solar eclipse in your 6th house, and maybe you have been really busy problem solving, really busy looking for work, paying bills, taking care of your health, taking care of like your body. But this lunar eclipse kind of says that maybe you have neglected your mental health. Maybe you haven't addressed some past karma issues or even haven't communicated about something. It is, after all, squaring Saturn in your 3rd house. Maybe you're so focused on like running every day or cleaning your house that you're like not addressing, I don't know, the problem, the elephant in the room, that maybe you feel unheard in a relationship, or you feel underappreciated, and you're trying to do all these physical things in order to get that appreciation. So you may have to talk about things. You may have to deal with past issues. Like, you know, for example, are you in a relationship and you're sort of giving a lot, but you feel like the other person is not, like kind of back to like not appreciating you? Or are you afraid of abandonment and you're working extra hard to like take care of things because you have that fear that they will leave or something? Might be very emotional time, a good time to spend some time alone. Pay attention to the messages you get through your intuition, through your dreams. Any addictive and unhealthy behaviors might be brought up for review, and it's a good time to address them and let them go. Therapy can be especially significant right now and can bring a lot of breakthroughs. And yeah, don't be afraid to let something go, and don't be afraid to bring up a topic that is uncomfortable but requires airing out. For Capricorn rising, there is a lunar eclipse in your 11th house. And so Cap risings have had a solar eclipse in the 5th house. So there's gains connected to romance, creativity, and children. You are choosing your personal joy. You are pursuing things that are just about you, that make you excited, things that are maybe like even happening behind closed doors, right? Like 5th, 11th is very much like 5th is, these are the people I have fun with, my children, my boyfriend, etc. And 11th is like, here's my work, look at it, everyone. So while you have been really focused on your personal life, there might be a certain friendship dynamic or certain relationship that, like friendship or someone in your network that you need to let go of. Maybe there are people who don't appreciate you, who don't see you for who you are, who don't kind of match up with your goals for the future too. Maybe like you're trying to have a child and they just are very like anti-children and tell you like, oh, we'll never hang out when you have a kid. Or, even like you're becoming more creatively oriented, you're embracing confidence and maybe like not, dating terrible people anymore, and they're kind of like stuck in their mind. So definitely there might be friendship drama. There might be goals and plans for the future that you have to address and readjust perhaps because they don't serve you anymore. Like say you start a new relationship and you like dreamt about moving to Paris, but this relationship feels so satisfying and you actually get so much joy from it that Paris doesn't seem as exciting anymore. So needing to change plans, needing to adjust to a friendship issue. Sometimes, there might be certain like financial issues or issues of values because Saturn in the 2nd house is squaring this lunar eclipse. So like feels like very much difference of values and also changes in your personal values that somehow affect your plans for the future and the people you associate with. For Aqua risings, the lunar eclipse happens in the 10th house, and Aqua risings, the solar eclipse happen in the 4th on April 30th. There's gains when it comes to home and family. Maybe you moved, maybe you started a family, maybe you started to renovate or you bought a home. There's like kind of exciting new beginnings connected to home and family, but now your career needs attention. As you are changing your home matters and also re-evaluating what makes you feel happy and secure, your job might no longer make you feel happy and secure, or there might be some crisis that takes you away from home and family that also makes you question, like, is this even necessary? Is this even who I see myself being? The job that I see myself doing? So you're kind of at a tricky spot of like, where does your heart belong and what makes you feel happy? And there might be something you need to let go at work. Maybe it deals with working less. Maybe it deals with looking for a new job. But whatever it is, I think the goal, if you operate from a place of like happiness and security and comfort, because that's what Taurus desires, ultimate long-term kind of joy, don't be afraid to release something. Like I have a friend, she's an Aquarius rising with a ton of Virgo planets in the 8th house, so she doesn't see herself as a Virgo. And she is also very skeptical about astrology, as Aquarius rising sometimes tend to be. But she's been an accountant for a really long time, and she recently moved to Florida. And she is also kind of like a yoga teacher, and she likes spiritual things quite a lot. But I wonder if for her this might mean kind of like letting go of a job that she's had for many, many years, a job that felt safe and secure, in order to pursue something that makes her feel happy on an inner level. Let me know if this is happening in your life in the comments below. Finally, for Pisces rising, there's a lunar eclipse in the 9th house, and there just happened a solar eclipse in the 3rd house, bringing new beginnings to your schedule, perhaps a new job, perhaps changes in your neighborhood, maybe new relationship with a sibling, new relationship with a neighbor, maybe like getting more involved. Teaching is a possibility, starting a blog. And this lunar eclipse is kind of temporarily. I mean, this energy is present through all year, calls your attention to your 9th house and makes you deal with some legal matters, maybe makes you address some matters connected to education and the place of living, like kind of travel matters. You may be rethinking your place in life and rethinking your role if you're starting a job that is very different, let's say, from a job that you had before. Legal matters, like if you are, let's say you're transitioning professionally, so maybe you're kind of like letting go of a job. Like my neighbor is a Pisces rising and he's kind of walking this line between like, he is a lawyer, but he's trying to become a teacher. So maybe there's like a release of an old status, an old career, especially if it has to do with legal, or it has to do with publishing, or it has to do with learning. You're basically kind of transitioning from learning to actually doing. And there might be a discomfort there too. There might be a sense of losing something or letting something go, but you're gaining so much. You're gaining this newfound joy and newfound presence, and maybe starting to communicate what you believe a lot more. So quite exciting stuff. Let me know if this resonates. Let me know how this plays out for you in the comments below. And also tell me about your solar eclipse in Taurus. How was it? Was there a lot of exciting things? And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.